Hey guys, Check Lifestyle here, back with another video. I hope you all are doing very well. I've got a series of videos to play you. I'm not going to be do much talking because the videos will explain themselves. But people need to wake up to the fact that this market has changed. Ripple is one of the tokens that are going to be doing massive things within this global market going forward. You're going to hear from several videos. They're very short, but they are going to explain what's really taking place, what's taking shape right now. Right now, you're going to hear from Naveen Gupta. He's in from the Future of Money and their summit, and I believe that was in oh my gosh, Saudi Arabia. I think yes. Hold on.
So, Navin, could I start with you? You are Managing Director, South Asia and MENA for Ripple. Ripple is a famous name in the crypto world, started as a payment mechanism, but things have developed substantially since that date. Could you tell us more about your present context in Ripple?
Yeah, 100%, right? So very simply, I'll take two examples. So as a Ripple, we are an enterprise crypto payment solutions company. Our payments is now becoming a smaller part. Lots of other things are emerging and becoming bigger and bigger. So let's take simply an institution that wants to use crypto for any purpose, either for tokenization, for payments, for custody. We are building solutions to essentially provide that. So as Ripple, we are one-stop shop for an institution that wants to delve into cryptos, right? And I want to just take at a ground level, I just want to take a very simple example. So let's assume somebody here in the room lives across the border in Oman, and they are producing tomatoes and they're supplying it to Dubai, right? The tomatoes from Oman border to Dubai will probably take 1 hour for you to unload it on the UAE side and essentially deliver those goods. But the money to move from UAE to Oman for the tomatoes that have been delivered will generally take between 3 to 5 days, right? And it's unacceptable in this world that we are holding growth back when physical goods can move in 1 hour, but the payment for that money takes 5 days or 3 days to reach the supplier. And that's what we are solving for every single day. Instant payments, using digital assets as a bridge, and making sure that the friction in terms of speed, in terms of the arbitrage that is essentially comes down to almost zero. And that's what we're solving at scale for institutions around the world.
So you're hearing literally there, Ripple is one of the leading companies solving payment problems. They're reducing the time of when money gets sent to the person that needs it. I find it very strange. Like if I send something back to say Amazon or something like that, it takes seven days or up to 5 to 7 days to get your money back into your account. That's absolutely ridiculous. We need a faster solution that allows quicker instant payments. Ripple does this, and you can hear that throughout this whole video. I'm not going to play you I'm not going to play you the whole Future of Money, and what I'm going to do is leave a link in the description so you guys can have a look. Anyway guys, if you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe, because this is what we're moving into is a massive change in the financial system. People may not see that right now and may not be interested. In fact, I don't think 99% of the people are aware of what's taking place. They are far too asleep with distractions that have been taking place, all the wars that are taking place, all the new diseases that are apparently coming out. I hear listeria is taking hold over in some places in America. God knows how that's happening. But hey, I am not here to discuss any of that. What I am here for is this. This is the future of money, and we need to wake up to this. Those who are sitting on the sidelines will miss out. You don't need an awful lot of money to get involved in this anyway. Now, you don't need an awful lot of money. Ripple at the moment is 60 cents a coin. Come on, guys. It's 62 cents at the moment. When I started getting involved in this, I paid my first, back in 2019, I think it was, 57 cents. Then it went down to like 20 something cents, and I kept on collecting, and not an awful lot. Like I said, you don't need an awful lot of money to get involved in this business. You're going to hear from Brian Brooks as well, where he talks about payments, how banks should be looking at this, and how this whole infrastructure is going to change the way we interact. And most people won't even know they're using this technology. Those who invest in the technology are going to be the winners. Those who are sitting on the sidelines are going to be losers, unfortunately, because a lot of people, I speak to people, younger than me, an awful lot younger than me, and I say, have you heard about cryptocurrencies? And they say, yes, but we've heard it's a scam. It's not a scam. There are scammy businesses out there, for sure, but crypto is not a scam. There are businesses out there that are solving problems, and these are the businesses people need to be getting involved in. You're hearing in the summit, people, Navin got to talk about picks and shovels. This is a pick and shovel here, right? Investing in the token is like investing in picks and shovel, like the gold, like what happened with the gold rush back in however long that was, the 1800s or whatever it was. People who made the most from the picks and shovels, supplying those picks and shovels for those who were digging the gold. All right. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Watch the rest of this video, guys, and do like and subscribe. And if you find this stuff interesting, this video is great. From the point of view of giving you information as to what's literally happening, and how this whole new technology is going to change the way we work and really bring down costs for the masses. And this is what it's all about, bringing down costs. And the old system is dead, basically. Look, what's America's debt clock at the moment? There it is, and it's continuing to rise all the time. Look at it. Come on. There has to be the solution is technology to solve this problem. Anyway, guys, like and subscribe. Take care of yourself.
I joined the board of Ripple because XRP serves a purpose. It's a function that facilitates cross-border payments. It's not some store of value, kind of arbitrary value that is not pegged to anything. This is actually what legitimate financial institutions use.
She joined the Ripple board because XRP has utility. It's what legitimate financial institutions use. It's not a subjective store of value. It's useful for cross-border payments.
Specifically for cross-border payments. So instead of days and dollars, it's seconds and cents. And that is the future, in my opinion.
So give me a specific example of who's going to use it.
So one of the things we've always said is I don't think banks will be the first customers. We've talked about payment providers, and so we have run pilots out there with the MoneyGrams, Western Unions, Mercury FX, Qualix, a couple of others. And those are payment providers that have massive treasury operations. Using one random example, you have a payment provider that has hundreds of millions of dollars of negative working capital because they've taken their dollars or their pesos and they've pre-funded it. They've pre-funded the account, so they go into Mexico. Once a week, let's say, they'll wire $10 million to Mexico and then debit along the way. Now, sometimes they overfund, sometimes they underfund. The ability to have real-time liquidity is transformational. The global pre-funded, what are called Nostra-Vostra relationships, it represents something on the order of magnitude $10 trillion. If we can make that more efficient and more useful, we can actually accelerate the engine of commerce kind of on a global basis.
So
the piece we hadn't seen before in Bitcoin was proof of work. But the magic, I think, comes from the fact that there is no central operator. All transactions are public. All the transaction rules are public. Anybody can enforce transaction rules. Like, that was kind of where the magic was. And so we kind of took it apart, and the use case that we decided to target in the early days was payments. Payments are a multi-trillion-dollar problem, and it seems like cryptocurrencies are just naturally suited to make payments better. And it's specifically, we kind of focused on cross-border international payments, not because domestic payments are great, but because cross-border payments are the worst. Like, if anyone who's made an international payment probably has stories of bad experiences. And so the worse the thing you start with, the less amazing you have to be better. And I think we can eventually be amazing and sort of take over the payments world, but we're not going to be there day one. And so if we can't succeed against the worst part of the problem, why are we bothering?
Compound witness.
I think Ripple will be number one. It'll be bigger than Bitcoin. It'll be number one.
Okay.
I've got no doubt in my mind about that. People don't seem to understand if the banks use Ripple, the high net worth clients are going to use Ripple, the retail banks are going to use, the retail people are going to use Ripple, the fund managers are going to use Ripple, the money managers, foreign currency providers. Ripple will be number one.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Wow.
Bitcoin is old technology. It's 2008 technology. It can only process 7 transactions if you're lucky, you know, within a couple of minutes or so, if you're lucky. That's when things are going well. When they've got the miner issue, God help us. You know, they bang on about Ripple being centralised. The technology is not centralised. The company is. But you know what? I've got news for them. So what if it is centralised? It's not. It's not, though, because it is decentralised technology,
Exactly.
distributed ledger, and open source. Bitcoin is centralised because you've only got 4 major miners that control that. And when that was happening, you know, Bitcoin prices went to $50. You go and buy a coffee for $3, and it's going to cost you $50 to get a Bitcoin processed by the miners who validate it.
Exactly.
And the thing is, you're lucky it was going to be processed in 48 hours to 60 hours.
Exactly.
But it's still not viable. It's old technology. It's just that it's really well known and it's a poster child. Ethereum's got the same issue. They use the same miners.
Exactly.
Ethereum's got a lot of problems at the moment. Heaps of problems. You know,
you mentioned the speed of cross-border payments and the opaqueness of that process, and I guess it's also error-prone to some extent with SWIFT. Santander seems to be trying to approach it with a partnership with Ripple. Just curious what your thoughts are on that.
So I do think that of the use cases out there, cross-border is one of the most compelling. We know that intermediation chains cross-border are long and quite opaque, and they're slow, and they can be quite costly. So my sense is that technology with appropriate safeguards could make a material impact and likely will, and it may well be through a partnership model. I don't want to pronounce on any particular approach, but there are a variety of partnerships out there that are trying to innovate and to reduce frictions and increase transparency for those cross-border transactions. In my sense, I'm fairly optimistic that there are some good solutions out there that don't necessitate a global stablecoin.
So the point that I always try and tell people is, you know, the biggest issue that I always try and focus on is cryptocurrencies are really not about currency. And the biggest misunderstanding of this whole discussion is the belief that if crypto is not doing a great job of replacing the US dollar, then crypto is failing in its mission. And what I think we'll talk about a little bit today is the idea that most of crypto is about replacing the centralized banking system with networks that allow user control versus bank CEO control. The crypto assets that have prices are more like internet stocks. It's more like you bet on Google if you think there's going to be high internet traffic, and you short Google if you think people are going to go back to the post office, right? But it's not that Ethereum or Ripple or anything else is trying to replace the US dollar. It's trying to replace a system of transmitting value, and we'll talk a lot more about that. So for me, the prices are not that relevant any more than Google's volatility is, and in the early days of Google, that was super volatile.